This is a comparison of the Razer Deathadder 2013 and the Mionix Castor. Okay, the build for both. Okay, they're both made of plastic. It's sturdy, solid mice. The Deathadder, however, weighs about 105 grams. This weighs 94 grams. It feels lighter than the Deathadder, and I kind of like the build of the Castor better. It just feels more solid as a whole. The Deathadder feels a bit more hollow compared to the Castor. Now the cable, both use a braided cable. The Castor's, however, is stiffer than compared to the Deathadders. So when I'm using with the Razer mouse bungee, the Deathadder, I can fit through all three slots, but the Castor, it can only fit through the first slot. But still, it holds it tight and doesn't move while I'm gaming, so I have no complaints. But the cable, I like the Deathadder's cable better. The sensor, however, is the Deathadder has the Avago ADNS S3988 optical sensor, no acceleration. Castor has the Avago ADNS 33110 sensor, optical as well, and no acceleration for both. However, this is regarded as the more accurate sensor in the industry. And which sensor do I like better? I probably like the Castor's better, to be honest. It could be placebo, but I just prefer it, okay? And the coating, both use some sort of like a rubberized kind of coating. However, for the Deathadder, it's slightly drier, if that makes any sense. However, and when I'm holding it for long periods of time, my hands, they sweat a lot with the Deathadder's coating. But with this, they still do sweat, but not as much, and it's more manageable. So I like the Castor's coating better. The clicks, both use arm-on switches. The Deathadder has very loud, clicky, crisp clicks. Now, it doesn't take much to push down. It's very light activation force. The Castor, basically the exact same thing, slightly quieter, and then again, not much force needed. However, the mouse buttons for the Deathadder are a lot larger than the Castors. I probably like the clicks on the Deathadder better compared to the Castor, but then again, it's all personal preference. The scroll wheel. This is more sturdy and solid. Its notches aren't as distinguishable, for me at least, but each scroll is very noticeable. And it's clicky as well. That's good. The Castor, each notch isn't distinguishable again, but it's clicky as well, but it's more dull compared to the Castor. And each scroll is very noticeable. So I like the Deathadder's scroll wheel better. DPI switch, the Deathadder, it doesn't have one, so well, the Castor kind of wins here. And this is only one switch behind the scroll wheel. It's not really that clicky in my opinion, but it's just there and switches between 3 DPI settings. I mainly use it on the first one, 400 DPI, because I play Counter-Strike and I don't ever touch it again. The side buttons, okay? And the Deathadder has two very large and reasonably well placed side buttons. They're both very clicky and responsive. The Castor, same thing. They're slightly smaller, but they're also very clicky and fairly responsive. However, you get more of like a kick out of pressing the Deathadder's side buttons compared to the Castors. These are slightly lighter, it feels lighter at least. I probably prefer the Castors over the Deathadder because these are just too big for my personal liking. I don't really need it that much. These are like smaller, but they're still there and you can use them fairly well. The lighting, the 2013 edition only has green lighting for its logo and its scroll wheel. It's bright, it has like all the options, pulsating, breathing, etc, blah blah. It's smooth, okay? It's very bright as well. The Mionix Castor has the same thing, scroll wheel, logo. It has RGB lighting, however, and the transitions are a bit choppy, but honestly I don't care much, because when I'm gaming I don't really focus on the lights on the mouse, so just give it to either one, I don't really care much. The grip, however, the side grips, the Deathadder has two rubberized side grips on the left and right hand side. And however, when they're moist, they don't really help much with grip. It's just like, it's pretty, what? It feels like a bit like the top of a sponge, kind of ish, you know, when they're moist. So the grip is just there. It does its job, not awfully too well, but it's just there. The Castor, only on the left hand side, is an oversized, massive, well not oversized, like a massive rubber grip. It feels basically the same as the Deathadder's. When it's moist, it doesn't really grip, you know? Yeah. But which grip do I like better? I probably like the Castor's better because it's just larger. You have more surface area to hold on to compared to the Deathadder, where you have like just a small ass area just for your thumb. and this area has the pinky. I don't really use it much though. The ergonomics, okay. The Deathadder it feels kind of wide and a big mouse. However, my thumb, it kind of touches the mouse pad. My pinky as well kind of touches the mouse pad when I'm using it. So it feels pretty good, I will say, but there's the two issues, my thumb and the pinky. The Castor, however, is like a grooves on the side and like a little groove for the thumb. When I put my hand on it, it just feels natural, okay? So obviously I like the Castor's ergonomics better compared to the Deathadder. My thumb, it doesn't touch the mousepad. My pinky, neither. It just feels better and more comfortable and natural compared to the Razer Deathadder. I had a friend who tried this, and he's like, "Oh my god, it feels so good, what the hell, what?" But then again, this mouse its selling point is the ergonomics. So yeah, there you go. The size, the Deathadder feels bigger than the Castor, for sure. It just feels bigger. So if you're going for like a bigger mouse, the Deathadder will probably feel better in your hands. Slightly smaller, the Castor. I can't really give like a winner to this. The weight, the Deathadder weighs 105 grams, still very light. The Castor, 94 grams, even lighter. So I prefer this because it's light for, you know, swiping while in Counter-Strike. The mouse feet, however, the Deathadder has 3 mouse feet. They're all pretty small. They are decent quality though, and they do the job reasonably well, so really no complaints. The Castor, 2 very large mouse feet. This is like Zowie level large mouse feet. Good quality as well, very smooth. I like the Castor's mouse feet better. Okay, and finally the price. The Deathadder, you can find it pretty cheap, about just about anywhere. For its price, it is a very good mouse, worth it, the value. It's accurate, it's comfortable, it's sturdy. I like it. For its price, it's very good. The Castor, however, is slightly more expensive. I had to get this shipped on Amazon, and it cost me a reasonable amount. But however, if a local store sells it, you can give like a under $100 price, or just $100. Yeah, then it's pretty worth. Otherwise, really no. Just go for the Deathadder. It's slightly cheaper as well. But then again, if you don't really have a budget, you might as well truck over the Mionix Castor tryout. You know, that's my personal opinions and comparisons. Thank you.